Today, as of this recording time, I have been on Substack for exactly 1 month. I never really saw Substack as a platform that I felt called to use. As you know, I'm very active on YouTube, on TikTok. I'm a podcaster. But Substack felt to me more like a platform for bloggers. And I just didn't feel like there was enough time in a day to blog in addition to all the other media work that I do. But that all changed once I had decided to write a fantasy novel. It's a pretty tough job to write a novel of about 70,000 pages if you don't have any experience in writing fiction. And so I started to write a new story every day and I would post it on Substack. And so in total, as of today, I've written 33 short stories, and they cover a wide range of topics. I started writing stories that take place in the same universe as my fantasy novel, so in medieval Ireland, and that was a lot of fun because it feels like a world that I'm familiar with. I love reading fantasy, and a lot of the epic fantasy and high fantasy takes place in medieval worlds. Another type of story that I've posted every once in a while are children's stories. And that was actually one of the first genres that I tried out when I started Substack a month ago. This was at in the middle of the conclave. So the cardinals had just entered the Sistine Chapel, and the whole world was watching the chimney on top of the Sistine Chapel. And you probably have seen it as well. That chimney stood there not all by itself. No, there was actually a small family of seagulls. So two adult seagulls, and there was a little chick. And they nested on the roof of the Sistine Chapel. And journalists, since they didn't have anything to report on, other than, that little chimney, they just went on and on and on about that seagull family. And the question I asked myself is, if those seagulls could talk, what story would they tell? And that's how I came up with a story called the Chick in the Chimney. And I posted that on Substack, and it went viral very rapidly. This is how I got my first 250 subscribers in no time, because that story got picked up, it got reposted. I even got a call from the New York Times, and they wanted to do an interview with me about that story. Now, unfortunately for me, that didn't happen because while they were planning that story, white smoke appeared and the news broke that there was a new pope and he was American, so they just didn't have room for that. But it just showed me how quickly a good story that somehow kind of touches the heart of people can start to amass a crowd and can start building community. And that's why I do this. I want to create a community around storytelling. The one thing that I've learned after doing this for, 31 days now, is that daily rhythm was incredible. It broke the dam of my creativity. One of the things that I've struggled with in the past, 5 months now that I'm writing this novel, this first fantasy book, is that oftentimes I just get stuck. It's mostly because I don't know where the story is going, and then I have to go back and make another outline. And so there's a lot of iteration in that process. Whereas these short stories, it's usually very simple. It's just one or two characters. There is one problem, and then you have obstacles, and then there is a resolution. And I always try to give it a twist, especially in the fantasy stories. There's always something unexpected that happens. But it's fairly simple to see the structure of the story and then to write it. It's been an amazing experience, and I love Substack because it gives me a platform where I can very easily post this stuff. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, you may have followed the early stages of the creation of my novel, and then you just wondered, so what happened? Well, if you didn't know that I had a Substack, now may be a very good moment to go over there and subscribe. And if you love fantasy, it is a fantastic place to be, because there are lots and lots of fantasy authors, science fiction authors, storytellers like me who are posting their stories for free on Substack. So for me, it has become the go-to app And there is a very supportive community. So it's a lot of fun. It's very similar to my YouTube community around my BookTube channel. Lots of encouragements and tips and ideas and suggestions. And it's just very compatible with what I was already doing on YouTube. So go and take a look. It's very simple to find me there. It's just fatheroderick.substack.com. And if you subscribe, you can actually choose between two newsletters. So there is the Daily Scroll. And that is basically, if you subscribe to that, you will get an email with that story of the day. And usually it's a story you can read in 5 minutes. So it's something you can just squeeze in your day, or maybe you're going through your email and you're bored and you just want to escape for a few minutes, then that's why I wrote that email newsletter. So it's a new story every day. For a lot of people, that is way too much, of course. I can see that the opening rates are going down because people are falling behind. And so for those people, I created a second weekly email newsletter. So you can select either you want all of it, or you say, hey, just give me the weekly one. I will just go to Substack myself if I want to read a story. So the weekly Substack newsletter is called The Quill and Candle. It's kind of the name of a tavern where storytellers gather. It's for people who don't have time to listen to podcasts or don't want to go watch this on YouTube. And that's perfectly fine. Some people are readers. Some people are more like auditory learners like I am. And other people just like to watch. So I hope that gives you an overview of what I've been up to as an author. So go and take a look. It's just fatheroderick.substack.com. Talk to you next week. Take care.